everyone. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Okay, so welcome to the deep dive.
Mm.
And today we're diving into something pretty major.
Yeah.
These new tariffs that have everybody in the tech world talking.
Yeah, they're making waves.
And that are definitely going to affect like what we pay for everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, from like our next laptops to
Absolutely.
AI services we might be using.
Exactly.
And we've gone through like a bunch of different sources for this.
Yeah, whole range.
You got like enterprise tech news, financial analyses, even like discussions happening within the industry itself.
Absolutely. We're trying to like pull out all the important stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Give you like a clear view of what's really happening.
Exactly. So you know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're probably seeing headlines
Yeah.
and like feeling this like shift in the economy.
For sure.
And our job here in this deep dive is to go deeper than that surface level stuff.
Exactly.
And really understand what these tariffs could mean like everywhere, especially for tech AI. You know, consumer electronics, all the stuff we use every day.
All the important stuff.
Exactly. And we're not getting into the politics.
No.
We're just looking at what our sources say
Exactly.
about how this will probably affect businesses and, you know, us as consumers.
Like what it means for our wallets.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's like unpack all of this.
Okay, let's do it.
Start with the reaction we saw right away.
Oh, yeah.
Like the initial shock.
Our sources are all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
The market's like totally freaked out in a bad way.
Oh, yeah.
Big tech companies, I'm talking the giants, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, even Apple.
Huge names.
They all saw their stock values plummet.
Yeah, it was rough.
Apple alone supposedly lost over $300 billion
Wow.
in market capitalization just like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't just them.
No, not at all.
The whole S&P 500 had its worst day
Yeah.
since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Wild, right?
It's a pretty strong signal.
Definitely a red flag.
Yeah, so it's like investors are spooked.
Makes sense about costs going up and demand going down.
Right.
Because of prices going up for consumers.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
if companies can't just eat these new costs,
Right.
they'll have to pass them along.
Exactly. And that could hurt their profits and growth.
Yeah,
So investors are bailing out.
basically.
And it also shows a bigger worry about the economy in general.
Like a ripple effect.
Exactly. Things could get messy.
Okay, so it's not just like Wall Street being jumpy.
No, not at all.
The Consumer Technology Association,
Yeah.
they're like a big voice in the tech world.
For sure. They represent a lot of companies.
They put out some serious warnings.
Yeah, they're saying these tariffs could lead to widespread inflation, jobs being lost,
Or
and even a possible recession.
they even compared it to the Smoot-Hawley tariffs from back in the 1930s.
Yeah, that's a blast from the past.
For anyone who remembers their history,
Yeah.
those tariffs are like infamous for making the Great Depression worse.
Yeah, not a good look.
Definitely makes you think.
It does, because those tariffs were also meant to help domestic industries by making imports more expensive.
Yeah.
But it backfired.
How so?
Other countries retaliated with their own tariffs.
Also, it like escalated.
Exactly, and it hurt international trade,
Wow.
which made the economic downturn even worse.
So the worry is that these new tariffs could start a similar chain reaction.
Mm-hmm. Like a global trade war.
Yikes.
Nobody wins in that scenario.
Okay, so beyond like the big economic picture,
Yeah, let's zoom in a bit.
our sources are also talking about how individual businesses will probably react.
Right, like on the ground.
Yeah, there's this analyst, Jamin Ball, quoted in one of the tech articles.
Oh, yeah, I read that one.
He thinks that chief information officers,
The CIOs.
the folks making the tech decisions and controlling the budget,
Right, the ones holding the purse strings.
so companies are going to get a lot more cautious.
Makes sense. Uncertainty makes people tighten their belts.
And that could have like a domino effect
Oh,
on
definitely.
the whole tech world,
Right.
affecting everything from software to hardware.
Exactly. New projects might get shelved.
Yeah, upgrades delayed.
Budgets will be under scrutiny, for sure.
And if we connect this to like the bigger picture
Yeah, because,
of technology, especially AI,
the hot topic.
these tariffs are like a huge roadblock.
Yeah, major obstacle.
Our sources say these new taxes on things like AI components,
Yeah.
networking equipment, and those crucial chips that power AI,
The semiconductors?
yeah, those could make building and running AI data centers here in the U.S. way more expensive.
It's all about the cost of computing.
Right.
And those tariffs are going to make it more expensive here.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Baker, who's like a big name in tech investing,
I know him. Yeah.
he's worried that this could actually make the U.S. lose its lead in the global AI race.
Wow. That's a big statement.
He's saying the problem is that a lot of the advanced semiconductors
Yeah, the brains of the operation.
for AI are mostly imported.
Right, they're not made here.
Yeah, mostly from companies in Taiwan and other Asian countries.
Yeah, and they're often built into things like servers and networking switches before they get here.
So the tariffs hit the whole package.
Exactly. It's not just about the chips themselves.
Then there's this comparison that some sources are making
Okay, what's that?
to what's happening with AI in China.
Interesting.
This DeepSeek R1 model, which is a powerful Chinese AI,
I've heard of that one.
was supposedly trained for way less money than comparable U.S. models.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it shows how intense the global competition is.
Definitely.
And these tariffs could accidentally give other countries
Yeah.
a big cost advantage.
It's like shooting ourselves in the foot.
So what does this mean for AI innovation?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, our sources are pointing to a couple of possible outcomes.
Okay, lay it on me.
First, we might see AI innovation slow down
Makes sense.
because the hardware is going to be more expensive.
R&D will take a hit.
And then maybe even more immediate.
Yeah.
We'll probably see companies that use AI in their products and services raise their prices.
Because their costs are going up.
Exactly. They'll have to pass it along.
And that means higher prices for us.
Exactly.
This makes me think about alternative solutions.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
One of our sources mentioned something called decentralized physical infrastructure networks.
That's a mouthful.
I know, right? DePIN for short.
Okay. Tim.
It's basically a distributed network of computing power.
So instead of like huge data centers, it's more spread out.
Exactly. People or smaller companies contribute their resources.
Interesting.
And it could be a way to get around these tariff issues.
How so?
By having more flexible and potentially cheaper access to computing power.
A workaround.
Exactly.
There's this company, Aether, that's a good example.
Right. They're doing some interesting things.
They say that by using underutilized computing power from all over the world, they can offer supply chain independence, scalability, and big cost savings.
Compared to the big cloud providers.
Right. They say they can deploy stuff in like 2 weeks.
Which is super fast.
Especially when you think about the delays and extra cost from these tariffs.
It's like they're turning a weakness into a strength.
Yeah, they're addressing the vulnerabilities.
Right.
These tariffs expose with centralized infrastructure.
By being globally distributed, they can avoid the delays and costs of importing tons of hardware.
And their focus on speed and affordability directly counters the potential slowdown and increased costs that the tariffs could cause.
It's a clever approach.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about something that will definitely hit our wallets.
Hit us where it hurts.
The price of everyday electronics.
Oof, yeah, that's a big one.
We're seeing reports, especially about computers,
laptops, desktops, the whole shebang,
that say these tariffs, including a reported 25% tariff on all imported computers, could mean much higher prices.
It's all about the supply chain.
Right.
All those components, processors, memory displays, they're often made in different countries.
Yeah, it's like a global assembly line.
And tariffs at any point in that chain.
Especially on the finished product. Like a whole computer just added the cost.
And guess who ends up paying?
The consumer.
Bingo.
And it's not just the final price.
Right.
We could also see annoying delays in getting new products.
Like that shiny new gadget.
Yeah, because companies have to scramble to adjust their supply chains.
It's a logistical nightmare.
So that new laptop you've been waiting for might take forever to actually show up.
Supply and demand. It's a delicate balance.
We're even getting some early estimates.
Oh, yeah. From where?
About how much prices might go up.
I'm all ears.
There's this thread on Reddit's hardware forum.
I've seen that one.
Where people are saying laptop prices could jump by as much as 50% in some cases.
Wow, that's a huge increase.
And overall computer prices could go up by at least 15%.
That's going to make people think twice.
Yeah, it's a big enough jump to affect what people buy.
Definitely.
And it's not just online speculation. We're seeing real-world reactions from retailers.
Like what?
Aptit, which is a big electronics store near Chicago.
Okay.
They apparently saw this coming.
Smart move.
And stocked up on inventory to protect themselves and their customers from the immediate impact.
Temporary buffer.
Yeah, but big national retailers like Target and Best Buy have already said publicly that prices will probably go up.
If these tariffs stick around.
Yeah, it's like they're giving us a heads up.
It shows how worried they are.
Yeah, stockpiling only lasts so long.
Exactly.
Eventually, those higher costs have to be passed on.
And that could mean people either pay more or they hold off on buying stuff.
which hurts sales.
And profits for those retailers.
Yeah, it's a tough situation all around.
Definitely a ripple effect.
Okay, let's dig deeper into these disruptions
Okay.
to global supply chains.
It's like a tangled web.
It's not just about finished products like computers.
Right.
It's the whole network of manufacturing and shipping that's being affected.
The global dance.
For a company like Apple.
Yeah.
Which makes a ton of iPhones in China. These tariffs are a huge problem.
That's their bread and butter.
And it could definitely contribute to those price hikes.
Oh, for sure.
And the reliance on China goes way beyond just assembly.
It's deeper than that.
So many tech companies depend on Chinese-made parts.
Yeah.
I'm talking about things like circuit boards, semiconductors.
Capacitors, resistors, the building blocks of all our electronics.
Finding other suppliers for those specific parts isn't easy or cheap.
And sometimes China might be the only source.
Really?
For some really specific components, yeah.
Our sources are also saying that some U.S. manufacturers might try to move their production to other countries.
Like a way to avoid the tariffs.
Exactly. We're hearing about possible moves to Vietnam, Japan, Taiwan, even India.
Interesting.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
It seems like these tariffs are pretty widespread.
So it's not just about China?
Yeah, a report from Punchbowl News said that those other regions might also get hit with big tariff increases.
Oh, wow. Like how much?
Vietnam could see 46%.
That's huge.
And India 26%.
So just moving production might not be the answer.
Exactly. It's not that simple.
It's like squeezing a balloon.
It just pops up somewhere else.
And we can't forget about raw materials.
Oh, yeah. Those are important.
China is the main supplier of rare earth elements.
Those are used in a lot of tech, right?
Yeah. Everything from smartphones to electric cars.
Even wind turbines.
Exactly.
So tariffs on those could have huge ripple effects.
Yeah.
Way beyond just electronics.
It could impact the whole tech sector.
And, you know, in international trade, there's always the possibility of retaliation.
Oh, yeah. Other countries hitting back.
Exactly. And our sources are saying that other major economies might impose their own tariffs.
It's a tit for tat.
The EU and France have already mentioned, targeting U.S. digital services.
Makes sense.
And Canada isn't just talking.
They're taking action.
Yeah, as of March, they've put tariffs on billions of dollars worth of U.S. goods.
Including tech stuff.
Yeah, computers, servers, monitors.
So it's not just a threat, it's happening.
It's like a trade war is brewing.
It's definitely escalating.
This is interesting.
Tell me more.
One of our sources, Tech Policy Press, pointed out that the U.S. trade representative has called some foreign tech regulations digital trade barriers.
Interesting.
Which suggests that tariffs could be used as leverage.
So it's not just about physical goods.
Yeah, it's like a bargaining chip.
In the digital world, too.
Exactly.
It's getting complicated.
And then there's the whole TikTok situation.
Oh, yeah, that's a wild card.
Some sources have said that tariffs on China might be reduced.
That's part of a deal for TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok's U.S. operations are sold to an American company.
That adds another layer of complexity.
It's like trade policy and geopolitics are all mixed up.
It's hard to predict what will happen.
One thing that's clear from all our sources
What's that?
is that there's a lot of uncertainty.
About the long-term effects of these tariffs.
Yeah, and the wider economic impact.
It's a moving target.
Yeah, it seems like things could change quickly.
Definitely lots of unknowns.
This makes it really hard for businesses and consumers to plan ahead.
Trying to navigate this is like walking on eggshells.
Tour Networks, a tech consulting firm,
I heard of them.
Is telling people who want to buy computers to do it sooner rather than later.
Because prices are probably going up.
Exactly.
It's like a ticking time bomb.
And WBM, a Canadian tech company, is recommending that their customers who need new hardware should order it now.
To lock in the current prices.
Yeah, and because the Canadian dollar is getting weaker.
That makes imports more expensive?
That's the double whammy.
Ouch.
At the core of this whole debate, an NBC Chicago report pointed out that there's this fundamental disagreement among economists.
About the overall impact?
Yeah, the people who support these tariffs.
Like the Trump administration.
Say they'll boost the U.S. economy and manufacturing.
The America First argument.
But most economists think they'll actually hurt consumers with higher prices.
Leading to inflation and slower growth.
So it's like two totally different perspectives.
A real clash of ideologies.
So to sum up everything we've learned.
Okay, hit me with the key takeaways.
Our analysis suggests that these tariffs are probably going to mean higher prices for tech products.
Yeah, that's a given.
And AI infrastructure.
Definitely.
We're also going to see disruptions to global supply chains.
As companies try to adapt.
And other countries might retaliate with their own tariffs.
It's a recipe for uncertainty.
All of this could really shake up the tech world
Yeah.
and maybe even affect the global race for AI.
The high-stakes game.
And here's something to think about.
Okay, I'm listening.
With these complex global supply chains and all this rapid innovation in technology, how might these tariffs change where tech is made
That's a good question.
and where it's used in the future?
It's like redrawing the map of the tech world.
And what unexpected consequences
Yeah.
might come from this big shift in trade policy?
It's a Pandora's box.
It's definitely something we need to keep watching.
For sure, this story is far from over.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a fascinating journey.
We'll keep you updated as things develop.
Stay tuned.